All right, so I know this is going to rub some people the wrong way, but I'm just going to get it out there. So, one of the biggest lies in business today, or I get the biggest eye roll, is that purpose is just fluff. It's soft, it's inspirational, but it's not practical. I'm going to call bullshit on that. No surprise, it's in the freaking title of my podcast. People think of purpose as like this tagline that you slap on the wall, but not something that really drives growth or moves the needle. It's a nice to have, but it's not a necessity. Bullshit again. Here's the truth. In today's noisy, crowded, chaotic marketplace, this sea of sameness and this competitive commoditization, purpose is not fluff. It's actually fuel, and it's your sharpest edge in a sea of sameness. For too long, entrepreneurs and business owners have been told they have to choose between profit and purpose. If you're tired of burning out, done chasing someone else's version of success, and ready to grow with more purpose, prosperity, and peace of mind, you're in the right place. Because every business has the potential to do good and do well. I'm Chase Friedman, and this is In Pursuit of Purpose, where strategy meets soul. All right, so today I'm going to dismantle this myth that purpose doesn't matter. Look, we are way past this as being treated as a nicety. This is an absolute necessity. I'll show you why founders tend to skip this step and how that choice is leaving them stuck or burnt out. And then I'm going to give you a framework that I use and I use with my clients called the purpose positioning framework. How to turn that purpose, that passion, into your greatest competitive advantage as a business. If you've ever rolled your eyes and said, well, purpose isn't going to affect our bottom line, it doesn't pay the bills, this episode is going to change the way you think about purpose as a business strategy. There was a time where I too bought into that myth. I would hear the term purpose, I would hear mission, vision, statement, and think, okay, great, this is something that I can kind of craft and put on a shelf and then go about running my business. I didn't exactly know what purpose meant in the context of building a brand or building a business, especially when I was consumed with this false pretense of scale and hustle and add more offers and run more campaigns. I wasn't ready for anything to try to slow me down. But again, as I've shared, this is what led me to a scattered strategy of spinning my wheels, of burnout. And while revenue was great and we were getting more clients, none of it felt aligned. None of it was fulfilling. And this ended up commoditizing our business. Clients couldn't tell us apart from anyone else. How could they? We were commoditized. We were losing conviction. We were becoming a lookalike brand in business. That is what happens when you treat purpose as fluff or a secondary priority. Your business becomes fluff and you begin blending in with everybody else. So once again, this common myth, it's woke, eye roll, it doesn't mean anything for your bottom line, of purpose being sort of this inspirational, internal, nice to have statement. In reality, without purpose, especially in today's marketplace, brands are continuing to commoditize. They look alike, they sound alike because they're competing on the same things, on price, on product, on features, nothing that really differentiates themselves in the marketplace. Certainly not something that's going to magnetize and attract them with their desired customer. So with purpose, you can actually magnetize. You can find your tribe and bring them into the fold through an emotional connection. When I work with founders and businesses on developing their why, their purpose, it's like a bit of therapy. And it's hard to get real and open and vulnerable with your why. Why? Why do I run this business? What do I believe in beyond the bottom line? Is it strong enough? Is it compelling enough? And a lot of times people end up just forgetting about it. They think that their why needs to be this big save the world initiative. It doesn't have to be. It can be something just truly personal to you or your employees or your customers. I also get the whole impatience thing. I don't have time for this. I just need revenue right now. Give me more leads. Give me more followers. These are vanity metrics when you don't have your core foundation in place. And I will tell you that there are diminishing returns when you are just running a bunch of tactics without a singular strategy. And then, of course, the confusion. How does purpose actually tie to execution? Look, all around us, we are influenced by this culture that glorifies hustle and quick wins, not necessarily alignment, right? Skipping purpose, it feels faster in the moment, but it's actually what's going to slow you down long term or giving you diminishing returns on all those campaigns you're trying to run because it's going to be disconnected. It is not operating on that same central belief or vision or emotion behind what you do and why you do it. I've shared this before, but I'm going to share it again because I think we need to understand that brand purpose is proven to drive business growth, right? The data is undeniable. Purpose-driven companies outperform their peers by over 400%. That's market share. Mission-led brands can enjoy up to a 20% higher pricing power, meaning greater margins, right? When you're connecting with your tribe, your customer on a deeper, more meaningful level, they become your ambassadors. They become your loyalists. They want to buy more from you. Think of Apple, think of Patagonia, think of all these brands with a very forward-thinking purpose and how people become diehard, almost cult-like followers of the brand. So that's increasing your margin. Purpose-driven, purpose-first companies tend to grow 3 times faster than competitors. And again, I think this is only going to accelerate in this next generation as Gen Z becomes the predominant sort of workforce and consumer. When there are more companies being launched every single day without a clear differentiation, their lifespan is going to be cut in half or less. You have to have something that is going to motivate and inspire not only yourself and your team, but your consumers far beyond the next lookalike brand. Talk about brand trust and loyalty. 82% of consumers choose brands that align with their values. We know that people buy on emotion first and logic second. So why not wear your values, wear your purpose on your sleeve as a brand? Let it be known. This is going to ingratiate you and connect you with a consumer base deeper than almost anything else, right? I get it. Price is a commoditization in terms of differentiation, but only a few can win at price, right? Unless you're going to be Amazon or Walmart, you're not going to win that battle, and it's going to be a race to the bottom, which you don't want to engage in. So find what is unique to you that can truly differentiate yourself in the marketplace. When it comes to recruitment and retention and employee turnover, I mean, we've seen this with the Great Resignation, with quiet quitting. Companies are bleeding the best and brightest employees because they don't feel like they have anything deeper beyond the paycheck. More and more workers, especially from this Gen Z generation, are willing to take less of a salary or a pay cut to join a company that aligns with their values, right? So over 80% of employees are going to stay longer at mission-led companies because it's something greater. It feeds their purpose and their belief as a person and as an employee of this company. And then, of course, we're seeing much, much more investment flow and funnel through companies that have a unique and defining purpose. So I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but purpose isn't going to slow you down. It might take a little bit of extra time in the beginning to build that foundation, just like you would for a home. You want a solid foundation, but it can actually multiply your growth, margin, market share, retention, recruitment. So how do you actually make this practical for your business? This is why, after many, many years of workshopping and tweaking and tinkering, I built the purpose positioning framework. This helps you turn your deeper mission into a market advantage. It's transforming your why into your sharpest competitive edge in the marketplace. The first P, no surprise, purpose, your why. Why does your business exist beyond the bottom line? What change are you here to create? What problem are you obsessed with solving for your customers? Example, take Warby Parker, right? We're not just selling glasses. We are solving for greater access to better vision. Sounds a bit lofty, but again, they've differentiated themselves pretty well in the marketplace. Perspective, right? What are your beliefs and values? So what do you stand for? And almost more importantly, if not equally, is what do you stand against? What values will you never compromise on? We've seen this with many big brands that, quite frankly, are doing this purpose posturing. All of a sudden, they're jumping onto this greater cause because it's on trend and they feel like it's something they should care about, but it doesn't really align with their values. Your customers will call you out on that. Don't just jump on a bandwagon of a cause because you think it is the right one or because your competitors are, or it's trending on social media. Do it because it aligns with your values and makes sense for your business and brand. Take Patagonia. Their mission, we are in business to save our home planet. Everything they do, their ads, their messaging, their products align with that purpose, right? And they're unabashed about it. They are open and real and vulnerable, and their clients are loyalists. Their customers are loyalists, and they will continue to support that cause. Now you have to make a great product as well, but bring it to a higher cause than just, it's a great down jacket. Next is persona, your customer's worldview. So how does your purpose align with what your audience cares about? This isn't just about you. This is about aligning with your customer, who is the hero of the story. What transformation are you promising them? Take Nike, right? Embracing the spirit of the athlete. not just selling shoes, we sell belief in the human potential. Notice their ads, they're not marketing the latest colors or features or styles of their shoes. They are marketing to the spirit, the emotion of the athlete in all of us. And then we get to proof. What are your differentiators, or as we call RTBs, reasons to believe? How do you back all this up with evidence, right? Because you can't just talk the talk, you got to walk it. What results, what case studies or bold moves show that you're serious about this cause and your values? For example, Dove, there's a real beauty campaign, which is actually backed by research and action. Having rolled out numerous pieces of content and brand storytelling and ads that promote positive body image, has really transformed the landscape in a generation, young millennials, Gen Z, in terms of greater body positivity. And they study this stuff, right? Sometimes it's not always easy, but these are longitudinal studies that over time and frequency of sharing this message with your consumer, how it changes their pattern of behavior, how it changes their way of thinking about themselves in the world. So you got to measure it. And then finally, positioning, right? Your position, your message to the market. How do you turn all of this into positioning power? We talked earlier about margin and market share. Can you express it clearly so the market, anybody, whether they've heard of your brand or business before, knows exactly what you stand for and why it matters? A brand is not a logo, colors, fonts, website. A brand is the perception of your business in the eyes of the beholder, in the eyes of your consumer, right? So they need to be able to feel and understand what your brand stands for. So for example, if you're not clear on it, there's no way that your client can be. Example, Apple, right? We use it all the time, but it's a good one. Think different. This is a culture. This is a mindset. This is a rebel mentality that over decades have developed this, again, cult-like following to their products. People associate themselves with this identity and vice versa. So let's tie it all back to ROI. When you align these 5 elements, you're creating positioning power. You can stop competing on price. You attract talent or partners and customers who actually believe in what you do and why you do it. You can earn greater pricing power, margins, right? Loyalty, customer lifetime value, and of course, just overall momentum of your brand, which a lot of times comes from the inside out. Momentum and inspiration from your employees and your stakeholders who actually believe in this promise of who they're working with and for. And when they feel it, they can be your greatest ambassadors on the front line. Again, get it out of your head. Purpose is not just a tagline, okay? This is your strategy. This is your North Star. This is your compass in which to measure all of your strategies and tactics as a business and a brand. It's not just your why. It can be considered your why now. When you activate this and your business can stop becoming another lookalike, another option in the sea of sameness, it becomes the obvious choice for your perfect customer. You're aligning on a deeper level of emotion and value than just about anything out there. And again, trying to be all things to all people doesn't connect you with anybody. So don't be afraid to go narrow and deep on this purpose. You will find your tribe. You will find your super consumer, but you got to be honest and consistent and clear and authentic. Now, this is great for business, right? But imagine what this can do for your life. Napoleon Hill is big on identifying and connecting with your definite major purpose, right? So not just about business metrics, about your life. Where are you going in life? How your purpose guides your decisions as a partner, as a husband, as a father, as a business owner, and all things in between. Because again, profit without purpose and that belief and that why if you're doing it can be unfulfilling, right? How many successful founders do we know out there that are unfulfilled, that are still feeling lost, and it's never going to be enough for them, no matter how much profit they make? Purpose without profit, it's unsustainable, right? It's not just having the passion for what you do. Let's be realistic. You need to make profit so you can make a true lasting impact in your life and the lives of others. It's unsustainable. When you bring them together, you get this incredible alignment, this momentum, this energy, this peace of mind. You're building a business and a lifestyle that you actually love running. So let me ask you, or better yet, ask yourself this. What would your business and your life look like if you stopped treating purpose as fluff and started using it as fuel? I know it's not very comfortable to sit back and consider and contemplate, well, why am I here? Why am I doing this? What do I believe in? But when you get there, it can be incredibly empowering. And it doesn't mean once you write it down, it's locked in forever. This is a constantly evolving thing. I'm looking at Post-it notes that I put up a year or two ago and adjusting and fine-tuning what that purpose is. It's not a complete page 1 rewrite, but it's listening and learning along the journey and having the wherewithal to stop and reflect at these milestones so that you are clear, that you are motivated, but you are also realistic with what is needed in your life and your business. So my challenge to you is try to write down your purpose in one sentence, singular statement, and then ask, is this just something I put on the wall, or can this resonate in the work that I do? Stress test it with your team, with your employees, with your partner, with your customers. Make sure this is authentic. Make sure this resonates from the top down and the bottom up. Otherwise, it's just something that sounds good. So I invite you to download this purpose positioning canvas. It's kind of a great little quick starter that I developed. You can find a link in the show notes. Mock it up, mess it up, redline it, do what you want to do, create a first draft, and I'd love to see what you came up with. Share it with me and let's talk about it. I appreciate you tuning in today. I hope this brought you a bit of confidence, clarity, and conviction on your business journey. If something here resonated, do me a favor, leave a quick review or share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. It goes a long way in helping more people find the show and start their own journey. And as always, you'll find all the resources and ways to connect with me in the show notes. Now, go take that next step in building the business you've been dreaming of. Wishing you continued purpose, prosperity, and peace of mind.